And then we'll get back into the performance by Peyton Manning yesterday and what this does for his legacy at 7:55. But first, it's Muse in the News with Gordo, brought to us by D&M Leasing and All Pro Foundation Repair.
Thank you so much, Miller Man. You know what today is, don't you?
Yes.
Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course.
Can't hear you.
What's that?
Can't hear you.
It is, what's interesting is that today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. He was neither born on this day nor died on this day. So why is this Martin Luther King Jr. Day?
Because it was a good spot for a holiday?
Is that it? Is the idea it's the first Monday after his birthday?
Maybe.
Is that when we do
close
it?
to his birthday. Yeah.
You know, he was born January 15th, 1929, and of course you know what day he died.
Early morning, April 4, but it was actually the afternoon of April 4.
And what's sad is the only reason you know the date in which he died was because it's in a U2 song.
So, that's not sad, that's educational.
No. You should know it outside of a U2 song.
Why?
I knew it, but they remind us of it with their great lyrics and songs.
Because he was an important figure in American history, Craig.
That's why they wrote about him.
Do you remember
They wrote about important things.
You remember who killed him?
Yes.
I always have to think about it so I don't say the actor.
What?
I said I always have to think about his name so I don't say the actor's name instead.
Who was
That's
the
like
actor
it.
that played it?
It's similar. No. James Earl Ray. Right?
Okay.
Oh, you were going to say Jones.
Yeah, I always have to think of
Goats.
No, I always have
Not
to think
Totes
about
My
it.
Goats. The guy who sang Totes My Goats. Not him either. Anyway, yeah, at the age of 35, do you know that Martin Luther King Jr., the youngest man to receive the Nobel Peace Prize?
Wow.
And when he was notified of his selection to win the Nobel Peace Prize, he said that he was going to turn over $54,123. That's all of it. He gave it all to the civil rights movement, which that is a lot of money back then. $54,000.
I didn't know you got a big payday for winning a Nobel Prize.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Oh, yeah, it's a profit deal. That's the only reason I want to win one.
You will never win one.
I don't know.
I do.
I don't know.
I do.
Check into it.
I have.
Check into it. What are the chances? I haven't checked the Vegas line yet. What are the chances of me winning a Nobel Peace Prize?
About the same as me winning the U.S. Open someday. I would say I have a better chance to win the U.S. Open than you winning the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes, I would agree
think
with
so.
that.
I don't think so. I bring people together through comedy.
You divide people through comedy.
Yes, but then, well, I have to create the demand. I mean, this supply and demand thing, right?
Right.
Yeah, it was in the evening on April 4th, 1968, when he was standing on the balcony of his motel room in Memphis. And he was shot down by, allegedly, shot by James Earl Ray. There are all kinds of questions about that one, too.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, look into that one. That's another highly contested one.
Huh.
Jesse Jackson was with him.
Yep.
At the time. And wasn't he, 39 when this happened? How old was he when he was killed? He was not very old. He is very inspiring. You listen to his speeches, listen to his words.
Awesome speeches.
Yeah, great speech maker.
39 when he died.
And, Malcolm X was a little bit more militant than Martin Luther King Jr., who borrowed a lot from Gandhi, MLK. He was, through peace and things like that, reconciliation. So Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Salute to MLK.
Indeed.
Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King.
What?
I don't know. It's just strange to name someone Martin Luther. I mean, after someone's first and last name. Do you have any of your friends that are named, Thomas Jefferson Edelstein?
No, I don't know any Edelsteins.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know any Edelsteins either.
Like somebody whose first and second name is a very famous person's name.
I don't think I know anybody like that.
I don't either.
There was former first baseman for the Kansas City Royals, Willie Mays Aikens.
Love child of Willie Mays and Troy Aikens.
Named after Willie Mays.
Willie Mays Hayes, Major League. It's a fictitious character.
We got to think of one, right? I don't know any personally.
George Washington Carver.
Yeah, see, that's unstable to me. He should not have been allowed to do that, to go by that name. Because George Washington is off the table now.
How about Jefferson Davis Hogg?
See, there you go. That's another one. That should have been illegal.
We went to school with Abraham Lincoln Browder. Played for the Wisconsin Sleepers, and his nickname was Juicy Fruit.
What the hell are you talking about?
Intramurals at North Texas. There was this guy who dominated us in every sport.
Awesome.
Was his name really Abraham Lincoln?
No, his name was Lincoln Browder.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing that it may have been Abraham Lincoln Browder. But his nickname on the back of all of his jerseys was Juicy Fruit, which was very intimidating but also funny.
Yeah.
Juicy Fruit.
Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes.
Shot down tragically.
Okay, can't hear you.
Okay. I've been getting some mail up here at the ticket saying that I owe money to the North Texas Tollway Authority.
Oh.
Yes, I delivered some of that mail to you.
Yes.
I served you.
You and Fernando fought over the right to hand me that piece of mail that said that I was delinquent on my bill.
Mm-hmm. Fernando loves delivering bad news.
Oh, yeah. That's his favorite thing ever, is to tell you something went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Fernandez has more.
What do you say would be his perfect job? Working at a hospital?
Working at a hospital, being the one who goes and tells the family that their dad didn't make it.
No, I noticed those letters in there. I just let them accumulate day after day after day. I didn't want to deliver bad news to you.
Okay, so I owed, I don't know, it was like $6 in tolls.
Why'd you start driving a different vehicle that didn't have a sticker on it?
For two different, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. And in the couple weeks before I got my toll tag, before I finally remembered to register it and get a toll tag, I traveled the tollway because I travel the tollway frequently, and you have a toll tag in your car and you don't think about it. Mm-hmm. Well, I forgot that I didn't have one in this new vehicle. So I travel the tollway, and then lo and behold, an invoice shows up, and then another invoice shows up. And then
Sir, you were 90 days
delinquent on the first invoice shows up, and then the delinquent on the second invoice shows up.
Jail.
So for like $6 or $7 worth of tolls, I have an additional $20 to pay.
Why don't you just go pay it?
Well, I did. I finally did. I went online and I paid it. But I thought, should I call and try to get them to take these administrative fees off of it?
No, because they had to do that. They had to have someone sit down and put your...
There was nobody sitting down.
Bill
this
together.
was their computer spit out a letter to me.
If you did that, though, they would charge you an administrative fee for the time spent on the phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then I would call back up complaining about that, and then they would give me a convenience charge for talking to me about it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, if you do owe money to the Tollway Authority, it's actually kind of good news, because they used to do this thing where they would charge you $6.60 per unpaid toll. And now what they do is they charge you a fine of $10 to $25 per invoice. And what they do is they wait till you've accumulated a good amount of unpaid tolls. Then they'll send you one invoice.
Okay.
So you could have like 15 tolls, and you only have to pay $10 in a fee to pay those, rather than $6.60 per toll. So they've changed it. So if you have not paid the North Texas Tollway Authority because you owe a lot of money, or you think you owe a lot of money, you may owe a lot less than you think you do. For example, someone who thinks they owe $2,025 for running 250 tolls, they actually only owe $410.
See?
So pay your North Texas Tollway Authority.
Do they ever open the books to show us how much they bring in a given year?
I don't know.
To see that?
I don't know, but it's weird to me that it's not a public company. I mean, it's not a government. It's not ours. It's not of the people. It's a private company.
Mm-hmm.
Something screwy about that.
Yeah.
So they went in, and I'm assuming this private company, right? They bought all that land. That had to cost them a fortune.
How is that even for sale?
Well, that's what I don't get either. I mean,
I don't think they own the land. They're running that road for the counties that the road the tollway's in.
It's like
somehow the county's getting money back, but again, I'd like to see the books. I don't want to see how this works.
It's got to be like a property management type situation. They don't own it; they just manage the tollway.
Yeah.
So the government, we the people, could fire this company. They just have like a temporary contract.
I would guess so. Yeah.
Let's undercut them. Musers tollway.
Yeah, we'll run it. Let us run it. We want to run it.
Like the Tom Green bit. We'll be tollway undercutters.
You overrate pizza undercutters.
No, I don't. That was a genius
awesome
bit.
skit.
That was where Tom Green would wait outside and follow a Domino's pizza delivery guy who would go up and try to deliver a pizza to someone who ordered it, and Tom Green would go up there with his own pizza-making kit and try to undercut. Say, I'll make you this pizza for $2 cheaper than this guy.
With ingredients in a tackle box that he would open.
Right. Yeah. Frantically be throwing them on there, and everyone's telling him to leave and yelling at him, and he won't. Pizza undercutters. It's kind of genius. Our president has sounded off about pot. In a long-ranging interview in The New Yorker, he said, he said, it has been well documented.
I smoked pot as a kid.
And I view it as a bad habit and a vice, not very different from the cigarettes that I smoked as a young person up through a big chunk of my adult life.
I still think he smokes with cigarettes.
I don't think it is more dangerous than alcohol in terms of its impact on the individual consumer. It's not something I encourage. I've told my daughters I think it's a bad idea, waste of time, not very healthy. But it's pretty interesting that a sitting president has now officially announced ex cathedra that pot is not as dangerous as alcohol. Mm-hmm. It is amazing to me in our time that we are seeing the widespread acceptance of gay marriage and the widespread acceptance of legalizing pot. Two of these culturally divisive issues that now seem like, okay, we're kind of getting past this now.
Widely accepted?
Yeah, I would say
so. It's more
so.
accepted, yeah.
What are you talking about, pot or gay marriage now?
I'd say both.
Well, gay marriage legal in how many states? 19, 20?
Yeah, I don't know if that's wide.
And then,
it's not even half.
Well, when it's getting pretty close to half, I think that's...
When not long ago it was 0.
Right. And I think pretty soon, in 5-6 years, it'll be 50 states.
Yeah, same thing with pot. That may be 10, 15 years, but in 10 or 15 years, both will be legal in every state.
Right. And we'll think, and by the way, the country will continue to go on, and we'll go like, oh man, I guess that wasn't going to end our country as we knew it, like we thought it would. Yeah.
Or the handbasket officially be in hell.
No, the handbasket will not be in hell at that point.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, and Obama went so far as to say that he thinks in 6 or 7 years it will be legal in all 57 states.
He did say that once.
He also sounded off about football, pro football, the National Football League, and our president bagging on it.
What'd he say?
He said he wouldn't even let his son, if he had one, who would look like Trayvon Martin, as he mentioned before. Indeed. But he said, I would not let my son play pro football.
Well,
the nation's game.
I got news for you. It'd be about a 1 in 10 million chance that your son would be good enough to play pro football anyway.
He's the president. I think his son would get a spot on the roster somewhere. But, Giorgio, you let your son play football, so here's Obama saying that he's better than you, that he knows more than you do. He's calling your parenting into question.
Nah, I don't take it that way. I just take it that he's soft.
Ooh, okay. Oh.
George Dunham.
Dennis Rodman has checked into alcohol rehab.
What a shock.
After that North Korean trip when he went crazy on CNN. So he's checked into a 30-day program in New Jersey.
He needs more days than that.
I mean, well, he's been through rehab multiple times. Matter of fact, he was on celebrity rehab, and I think he started drinking like the next month after the show was over. Something seems like, how are you going to get sober when it's being televised?
You're not.
Right.
That's just too weird. And there's a video that has surfaced saying that by a couple guys dressed in black standing in front of a black banner with the religious verse up there that's associated with Al-Qaeda. And they're saying, quote, this is talking to Russia, we've prepared a present for you and all tourists who come over. If you will hold the Olympics, you'll get a present from us for the Muslim blood that has been spilled. And there are some U.S. lawmakers who say they are very nervous from what they've seen they're thinking that something bad's going to happen at these Olympics.
Wow.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit the other day. They've had some bombings, suicide bombings, not in Sochi, but in a couple of big cities away.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many red flags with these games. As much as I love the Winter Games, if somebody gave me an all-expense-paid trip, I wouldn't go.
And finally, Jay Leno is going to end his run on The Tonight Show on, February 6th, the night before the Olympics. And his final guest will be Billy Crystal. Just as he was the first guest, right?
This is his second farewell?
Second farewell, correct. And then Jimmy Fallon will succeed him on February 17th.
How old is Jay?
78? Somewhere in there. And Jimmy Fallon's talented. He's going to be good.
Yes, he is.
But will he capture the Tonight Show audience? Conan didn't.
Jay is 63.
63.
So they're just
I think
to
he's
Vegas
still number one.
Mm-hmm.
He's going
done well.
And he's also going to have, on the final week, Matthew McConaughey. I'm sorry, I guess Mike Soroy is going to be. Sandra Bullock, Charles Barkley, Blake Shelton, and Lyle Lovett. But the final musical guest will be Garth Brooks. We are a great race.
Yeah, that'd be. I guess they're Vegas buddies, huh?
Uh-huh. So, Billy Crystal, your final guest. Birthdays today. And by the way, they've done with the new Star Wars script. J.J. Abrams going to film the new Star Wars movie. Kind of excited about that.
So what is this? I thought we had been through all 6 chapters.
Well, there's a new chapter. Well, George Lucas doesn't own it anymore. He sold it, and so now they're able to have other directors make these movies.
It'll be good, but not as good as Star Trek.
Already is.
Why do you say that? Paul Stanley of Kiss is 62.
Greatness.
He called on September 11th, didn't he? And George went to his phone call or something like that.
That moment of silence.
Paul in
Wait. What? TV host Bill Maher is 58. Is that the definition of hell, being locked in a room with Bill Maher?
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Country singer John Michael Montgomery is 49. Oh, hey, my frenemy, Rainn Wilson, is 48. By the way, I found my interview with Rainn Wilson. I need to see if I can put that up on YouTube. It's okay.
Not funny.
It's okay. Let's see. Country singer Brantley Gilbert is 29. And Mark Stepnoski turns 47 today.
All right.
Step.
Speaking of the legalization of marijuana.
He was undersized, but his technique was so good.
Stop knowing a little bit about him. Okay, that's Muse 734 on the ticket. Lots of observations from yesterday's games coming up next, including the most excited Jim Nantz got all day.
For years, the only place that sports fans in Dallas-Fort Worth